and this is day 16 of 33 days with me in this journey of metamorphosis that we're going on together. And we are pretty much halfway through, which is amazing to me. And in this halfway throughness, you might locate yourself a bit and just see what's shifted or changed for you, or things that you're thinking differently about, especially if you've been engaging with this since the first of the year. You probably have had, I hope you have had, some new ways of looking at things and new ways of seeing yourself, and the big one being this new way of feeling life from a parts perspective. So starting to feel that rather than just one I that's occupying your life and leading your personality, you actually have many different aspects of you, that you are very multidimensional, and these energies coming into your field and into your space are actually needing and wanting your attention. So this is probably the big shift. I've then gotten deeper into connecting with the part that we start with in our soulful heart process called the protector. So I've offered a guided meditation, and yesterday in day 15 I offered letter writing and questions that you could ask this part of yourself to start to get to know it and to deepen that ground of connection. So that's a big one. We've also gone through the energy portal of 111 and the supermoon January 1st. So there's a lot of energies going on around this time and this month. So that's been a big thing, and it will continue to be as we go forward in this series. We have another supermoon coming at the end of the month, which I will be leading a meditation around and talking about as well. And we have lots of other places to go in terms of our process and the different aspects we work with, including into more of the star being and higher dimensional aspects and other timeline, what we call the meta soul. So that is coming up, in addition to guests coming in. Gabriel is going to join me, Gabriel Hartman, and my daughter Rihanna, and my husband Raphael will be back a couple times, and Kalena as well. So yeah, just you can stay connected to that as we go forward. And the other thing I wanted to mention is that I've been seeing comments from people saying, I need to catch up, or I've fallen behind the series. And I feel that this series, although I'm recording it every day, is not linear. It's really layers, and I kind of circle back, go in and then circle back to the same thing again. That's how my books are as well. So really feel free to see what you're drawn to for the different days. Look at the titles, feel the energy. Don't feel that you have to be sequential about it, that you have to do day 1 and then day 2 and then day 3. See what you're drawn to, and you could feel the part of you that maybe feels like it's school or something that you have to show up for, and that you have to do it a certain way, or you're falling behind. And in this case, there is no behind. There's just the now, and taking in what you need to take in, what mirrors something for you that you need to see of yourself. And that's really what I hope this series is offering, is a mirror for you into that energy, your own energy, and a reflection of your 5D self. So, yes, I hope you take that into your heart. I wouldn't want a fear of being behind to keep you from watching the videos, whichever one's called to you. A lot of people will be watching these when I'm no longer doing them, right? When the time has passed and they're just stored on YouTube, and their soul is drawn to them for some reason. So they're really, well, so much of our 3D world is sequential, and it's actually much more phasical and circular. And this is the multidimensional perspective that we're being brought into. I just want to mention our neighbor has a little chihuahua named Stacy. I try to record when she's not barking, but I can't control that. So if you hear a little yippy dog in the background, that's her. And so I try to just send her love every day. Love you, Stacy. So I'm sorry if it's distracting you a little bit. You could just picture a little chihuahua. She's awfully cute. So for today, we are going to go into an area that, as I'm doing this series, I've been thinking about the things that I've written in the last year that have resonated for people. And this is where I'm going, is where it felt like it hit a chord for people. There was something striking about it, or something that resonated. And this was one of those pieces. And I obviously don't know what that will be when I'm writing. So I'm just writing from my heart, my soul, whatever's going on for me, or whatever's happened in a session, or whatever I've been guided toward. And then how it will land, I never know. So this writing landed, and I believe captured something about where people are at right now. So I wanted to read it. I'm going to read most of it, actually, and then I'll link to it as well, so you can take it in your own time and space. This is about the void space. Then there is the void. It feels like many souls will be in this as consciousness continues to shift and change. Maybe you are in this now, or at least in moments. The void is the space in between the dips of necessary purgings and clearings, and the peaks of feeling connected to divine love. All that is, the sense of your higher self, knowingness. That's the peaks. The void is the place that is the during. The after, the old, a lot has been let go of 3D, and yet before the new has fully come in. How lonely this void can feel. How isolating. How crazy-making. It can seem to get bigger and bigger, never ending. A chasm that you can't possibly jump over. It can feel like there will not be something on the other side of it again. Nothing to land in. Nothing that will rise up to meet you. Parts of you may feel so lost in this void. It feels like living in an empty house. It feels like looking in a mirror and seeing no reflection there. You may feel like you truly have no idea who you are anymore. This void grows in your life as you awaken, as your soul frequencies rumble through you, as you are vacating the previous 3D life that parts of you, your 3D self, your protector, have built up so carefully. You are purposely tearing down, pushing away, letting go. Things are slipping, cracking, and completing. The previously nourishing relationships running out of ground and feel more and more shallow until they just fade away. These relationships once told you who you are, and you may find that you can't locate yourself that way anymore. Another person's ideas of who you are no longer offer the outlines that they once did. The void is when compelling careers and jobs, even the spiritually based ones, are no longer able to be responded to, and the new means of livelihood based on soul purpose expression have not been connected to yet. You may be financially broke as you break away from money earning energies that don't fit anymore. No self-identity or self-image is able to be propped up by the doing or showing up for the role anymore. So there's a drifting confusion about claiming a soul purpose expression. There are moments of feeling that you want to serve and share, yet a persisting lack of clarity about how and in what way. It can feel like the void will last forever, yet it is ultimately temporary. As you rewire your entire life, there is a necessary lights out phase. If you are truly letting go of what doesn't serve your soul, love will eventually come in to fill the space up again. Love wants to do this. Love comes in to fill the void in the form of soul family connections that offer a deeper intimacy and realness, a true resonance. Love comes in the form of self-intimacy that grows as you embrace what is authentically you and no longer resist any aspects of yourself, responding to love, to all that is within you. Love comes in the form of synchronicities and opportunities and resonances that you learn to trust, following with less doubt. Love wants to light you up again, you and all parts of you. Love wants to fill the voids. Let it into your life again, in whatever ways and means it is inviting you to. Trust your opening heart to guide you through and out of the lostness. Trust your soul to find the way through. Trust love to show you the way to the new, where the spaces are filling in, arising into infinite possibilities in every moment. I feel the energy of that. And as I was writing it, I felt the shift in the energy. So the beginning part of that is recognition of this void space. And of this void space that you may really be, maybe you're nodding your head, maybe you have tears, maybe you're just getting a, yes, I understand this. This is the space that's left when you've let go of so much. It's really what we would call the 4D space, where you're becoming multidimensional, you're becoming more of your soul, you're letting go of what's no longer you, the 3D self you, the things that were safe and comfortable, and now you're into this unknown void, moments and glimpses of 5D, and more letting in love. But you can feel the shift that this writing is offering, which is moving out of the void at some point, out of that void, and into letting love in. So letting love in. It's similar to the metaphor I've been using through this whole series. So there's the caterpillar self that's let go of being a caterpillar, gone into the cocoon, and the cocoon is a total void space. It's an arising. You don't know what you're going to become, but you know it's not going to be a caterpillar anymore. It's going to be something new, and you get tastes and glimpses and moments of feeling that butterfly that's coming. So that's a similar analogy for this. the void is, for parts of you, can be really challenging if they're not felt as parts. In feeling them as parts, then you can start to feel the sadness, the loneliness, the isolation. So you have a 5D self you that's saying, no, I don't want those previous relationships anymore because they don't reflect me anymore. So you're leading that. You're leading the letting go. But then you have parts of you that are in struggle around that don't understand why it's happening. Particularly for our inner teenagers. The social area, it has so much tenderness and vulnerability around it, often so much pain, that when you start making shifts in the social area, you may be leading that with a lot of clarity, but then your teenager may be going, oh my gosh, what's going on? I don't have any friends anymore. No one wants to hang around me anymore. To you, to your higher self you, to your 5D self you, it's we've chosen to let go of these relationships. To other parts of you, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like rejection. This can be important to feel because there can be such a push-pull and such mixed feelings around this. There's so many things out there, more and more, about completing relationships that no longer resonate. But really, it's not a willpower thing to just power through that, but to feel the parts that are in reaction to it, that are going, what's going on here? This has been my security. This has been what I've known. Now you're asking me to go into this void where you can't even tell me what the new relationships will be yet. The void space, like I said in the writing, is during. So it's the during, not the after. In the after space, you are experiencing soul resonance around you. You are feeling supported for your gifts. You are feeling like-minded, like-hearted, like-souled beings around you. And you primarily feel it from within and in connection to the divine. So you're not as much in a void this way. And I believe it's, so again, like the metamorphosis process for the caterpillar, this is not linear. So don't take me too literally here, where you're always in the void and then you go into the after, and then, it's really more like you're in the void and then sometimes you're in the before and then sometimes you're in the after. Does that. But perhaps what I'm offering today, again, similar to the butterfly metaphor, allows you to locate something for yourself. Because here's the other piece, that the big piece of this is the invitation to move out of the void. So the void was necessary, similar to what I also call the cozy cave reality and the lone wolf phase reality. It was necessary, perhaps, to clear out, I won't say perhaps, for a lot of people it's absolutely necessary to clear out the energies that are no longer you. If you stay, staying over long in that void space is where you start getting into suffering over suffering, where the parts of you that need and want and deserve connection inside and then with beloved others aren't experiencing that. So what I find in looking at the void space is that often it's the protector that kind of locks down. You got really hurt in those 3D relationships. I can't imagine the new ones. I'm using relationships because that's the primary ground this shows up on. I don't trust what's going to happen in 5D relationships, so I'm going to kind of leave you here in this void place where you're not in either. I've heard that many times in people that I've worked with. So also there can be then a grab onto the 3D anchor relationships, the previous relationships. So there's a letting go, And then there's a going back in, and then there's this push-pull, back and forth. All the parts get kicked up, and that leads to more suffering. So there's not like answers about all of this. It's really just more feeling where you are. And where do you want to be? And how are parts of you experiencing all of this? How do they feel about the void space? And you can start with your protector that we're leading into a connection with, to see how they feel about it. And go from there and see what opens up. But I do feel strongly that, and in my own experience, there were many void spaces that I was brought into. One of them was my time at a remote ranch for a year and a half with no electricity, very little money, and no teaching opportunities. I didn't have internet even. And this was not very long ago. This was only a year and a half ago that I was living this way. That was a void space. That cleared out a lot. And if you're interested, I write about it in one of my books called Keep Waking Up. And all of the awakening I had. It was voided out here, other than my husband Raphael and Gabriel, who was with us as well. It was voided out here so that I could go really inward, so that I could really be in that cocoon, to come out as a butterfly and offer what I am right now. So where my trust came from, as I was, not serving or teaching or writing to anybody, was that it was my trust in the divine, that if I never taught anyone, that would also be blessed. That maybe that would be my service of love. Although I didn't think so, because I always had these visions and sense and desire of leading so full heart. I was still a healer in the heart of me. I was about service with others. So I thought it would come back around, and it did. And the love quotient in my life just keeps growing and expanding. Out of that void space has birthed really a lot of beauty and a lot of butterflies as well. My own butterfly, actually. So I will link to this writing for you to take in more for yourself, almost as a meditation, and see where it takes you, where you go with it, and what the void means to you. And thank you for joining me today, and I'll connect with you in the next video, whichever one that is.